I'm here with Mannie. Just watched Arsenal go to Man United. 1-1. Your initial thoughts on the game?
Disappointing game, like completely disappointing game. I was just saying, I was one of the optimistic ones. I think at the beginning, saying, I feel like we could probably get a 2-1 win, but also was saying it would just be like Arsenal for us to come back from a Champions League game where we scored 7 goals and then make a meal out of this sort of game. Just
So when you
against Man
say you're
United.
disappointed, are you disappointed with the result or the performance or both?
I think it's an amalgamation of everything. If you're watching that game, it's a case where like we were not up for it, and we got to the point where even towards the end, I think you were saying, at 1-1, it looked like we were hanging on for dear life. We really were hanging on, and this is the time for us to play Man United. Man United have been awful this season, absolutely awful, and we've gone there and we've made them look like they've been sort of like some sort of heavyweights in some sort of the whole season, but they've not been that at all. They've not been that at all, and we've made a mountain out of a molehill, literally. Like,
Do we have to give United some credit because coming into this game, a lot of people saying that they're the worst United side ever, and a lot of criticisms of the manager playing three at the back. They've not been scoring goals. Do you think that they set up well and defended well?
I think so. I think the idea was definitely for them to sit in a low block to frustrate Arsenal. And also, I think this is great because it really humbles us. It really humbles us. And, of course, you're coming back from a positive result like we did in Champions League, you're upbeat and everything. But also, you have to remember, regardless where Manchester United are, it's Man United versus Arsenal. That's just the facts. That's just the facts, And I remember, I think a season back, a few seasons ago, where Tottenham were having a great time. And they gave us a game. They gave us a run for our money. So for me, it's a case where, this will always be a big rivalry, regardless of where they are in the league. But it's so disappointment. Just watching Arsenal today, like nothing was sticking, as opposed to taking 1-2 touches, they were just hanging on to the ball a bit too long. Passes, one popping off is quick enough, and Mikel Arteta, he needs to find something different. He needs to find a solution. We saw Raheem Sterling there watching the game. He looked absolutely disappointed. He looked like he wanted to cry at some point. You have Kieran Tierney coming on at left wing. We've got left winger, right winger on the bench. And what does that do to his confidence?
Yeah, I must admit it wasn't a good look for Sterling at all.
No.
But let's try and introduce some positives. Who would you say today stood out for you for Arsenal?
For me, definitely, Declan Rice, he saved us today. He saved us, especially that tackle in the box as well when Rasmus Højlund was about to take a shot. Yeah. Declan Rice was one of the shining lights as well. And I think David Raya was also, he made up for his mistake for letting that free kick in, because I think his positioning was absolutely wrong from that free kick anyway. Yeah. But he pulled off an absolutely fantastic world-class save. I think he pulled up a couple, actually. So he really, redeemed himself. I didn't say, he had the best game, but he redeemed himself very much so. But Declan Rice, for me, he was the shining light today.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought Declan Rice man the match, and Raya as well. Honourable mention for him. Like you said, I thought for their goal, I thought he could have done better. I thought his positioning was poor. He was beaten. It's good. It was a good free kick, good execution, but I think he showed Bruno way too much space, and Bruno obliged him.
You know what? It felt a bit like complacency. It's like, I'll give you all of this to aim for. And he said, okay, I will aim for it and I'll show you, So it's just one of those things where, does Arteta say that to Raya? Like, go far to the other side and give them... I don't know. Sometimes you have to kind of think about, is this an Arteta decision or is it actual player decision? Did he make that decision?
Well, I'm imagining the player made that decision.
Exactly.
He's out there. I thought Jurriën Timber, I thought he had a decent game as well too.
Yeah. I mean, Timber's fresh is always quite solid anyway. You can kind of he's one of the people that you can rely on in the Arsenal side. Solid, it gives you at the very minimum sort of like, your 7s out of 10s, as most games. And he's always like one of the people that you can kind of like depend on, I think, in this Arsenal starting 11. But yeah, Timbers, I think he had a decent game today. But it's just you can't help but feel like it was just overshadowed by the disappointment of the overall game. It's hard to kind of like pick people out, but of course, I said Rice earlier, but it feels like Man United were there for the taking today. They were the 15th. They were there for the taking. This was the time for us to literally give them,
And especially after that 7-1 victory over PSV in the week, a lot of people were expecting Arsenal to go and have a really good game today, and unfortunately, like you said, we just couldn't raise our levels. United did defend well, but I also agree with you. I think Arsenal were a bit flat. Looking forward to the game on Wednesday against PSV. Obviously, we've got a big advantage in that game. Would you like to see the manager make any changes, and if so, who?
I think definitely we can make some changes. I'm not sure about wholesale changes. Like we have to also. I know we scored 7 goals, but let's also respect the competition. Yeah, let's respect the competition. Of course, make some changes. I'd love to see likes of maybe Martinelli starting as well. We saw him get a quick cameo towards the second half today.
How do you think he did today?
I think you can tell he's kind of a bit off the pace. He just come his first game since coming out from injury, so it'd be good to give him probably start him on during the week, and see how he gets on. If it does tire out, we can bring him off for someone else off the bench, and it might be a good chance to get Sterling a game, get his confidence back up. People like him. We know that we can't win it's highly unlikely.
No, the Premier League.
It's highly unlikely that Mikel will say highly unlikely.
We're currently 15 points behind.
Adrift, exactly. So it's highly unlikely that we'll do anything there. Yeah. But it's people like we have to get his confidence back. His confidence must be on the floor today. Seeing likes of Tierney coming on to left wing in his position, and Sterling is a very very experienced Premier League and ex-international. So. Yeah, it will be a case where make some changes, but not too many. I don't, I think. Marty was saying.
You're right. We have to show show PSV and the competition respect. But but yeah, like I'm expected to see some changes, and let's hope the manager can come up with a few ideas on how to circumvent low blocks. Not to say that PSV are going to play low block, but we need to see some goals back in the team in the Premier League, and in just going forward.
Absolutely, I agree. I think our next Premier League game is it Chelsea?
Yes.
So Chelsea will make it easy for us. That's a London derby. They want to get they don't want to get one over us. They always do. But that midweek game, that's a chance for us to sort of dust off the cobwebs of today. An emphatic performance. I don't want to see anyone slacking. I don't want to see that. Even if it's a changed side, I don't want to see anybody slacking. It's good to get this in our DNA to just always go out there. You look at teams like I mentioned teams your Real Madrid's that we might be potentially playing, or Atletico Madrid. They have a mentality of siege mentality. Just siege everything. Just win everything. Sometimes we've got this thing. I feel like we want to go into games. Say, okay, well, we can rest this person. This, that, and the other. We can do that. We can do that. We can just take the foot off the gas a bit and just call on. No, just go there and obliterate teams. Make a statement every single time you can. Make a statement. That's how big teams. That's how they make their reputation. That's how they make their reputation, and hopefully we can follow suit as well. But we could make some changes midweek, but also I just want to take this very seriously. Take the game very seriously and respect the competition and PSV.
Okay, well said. Thank you very much.